Namaste everyone. Today in this class we are practicing reading skill. Reading skill. Actually this class is for grade 10 students and the students who are preparing for C. Today we will talk about these 3 points. The first point is we talk about 4 sub skills of reading. 4 sub skills of reading. The second thing is rubrics of question answer or mark scheme of question answer. And the third and most important part is a poem. The title of the poem is Did I Miss Anything? We will practice some comprehension question related to this poem. Yes, let me start the first point, that is the sub skills of reading. In English, in all of the languages, there are 4 skills. They are listening, speaking, reading, and writing. Reading is one of the 4 skills of language. And reading skill has some sub skill. To read some text, that means to practice the sub skill of reading. It is clear. That's why normally we are talking about 4 types of sub skill of reading here. Sub skill type 1 is scanning type of sub skill, scanning sub skill of reading. And in the other word, it is called reading for specific information also. The second sub skill of reading is skimming sub skill of reading. It is, in the other word, it is called reading for gist. Reading for gist. The third sub skill is called reading for main ideas and supporting detail. This is third sub skill of reading. And the fourth sub skill of reading is called reading for deducing the meaning of the word. These are the 4 skills. Let us go in detail with example. The first type of reading sub skill, that is scanning sub skill of reading. In the other word, it is called reading for specific information. I have given you a text here. This text is from the grade 10 textbook, The Story of Two Sisters. And the text is like this. One autumn, my sister and I made a blunder. She was 10 and I was 16. We planned to really enjoy our holiday because we were together but away from home. Our excitement lasted till the end of our journey and taught us an important lesson. So this is the text, and I have prepared some testing item, question answer, fill in the blank, true false, multiple choices. In all of this testing item, you have to practice your scanning sub skill of reading. That means you have to search specific information in the text. That question demands the specific information from the text. In the other word, you can easily find the exact word which is clearly visible in the text. This kind of question, this kind of testing item demands that. For example, let us observe it. The first testing item is question answer. How old were the 2 sisters? This is question answer. For the answer, you can find the specific information which is clearly visible in the text, that is 10 years old and 16 years old. The words are, you can scan the word here. Exact word can be found in the text. And it is very easy also to scan such kind of specific information. It is very easy. That's why you can give the answer in this way. One sister was 10 years old and the other sister was 16 years old. In this way, you can give the answer using this specific information given in the text. You you don't have to use your own word, use your own language for the content. The content is clearly available in the text. Specific information is clearly available in the text, in the passage. Another testing item is true false. Find true or false, so whether this statement is true or false. The statement is like this: it was winter time. Is it true or false? One autumn, like here, the word autumn is clearly visible here in the text, in the passage. The specific information is here. Now it is not winter time, it was autumn time. That's why this is false statement. Fill in the blank. Testing item, fill in the blank. To enjoy the holiday, the two sisters left. They left what? Here, away, but away from home. Home. They left home. The word home, this is the specific information. We can scan this specific information, which is clearly visible here. So write the word home here. This is the answer of this fill in the blank. And here the fourth testing item is multiple choices. Multiple choices. They learned blank space during their trip. They learned what? They learned to make tea. They learned an important lesson. They learned a blunder. Here, important lesson they learned. So you can scan the specific information here. So this is also scanning type of this. All these questions practice. If when we try to find the answer of these questions, we can scan the specific information from here, and those specific information are clearly visible here. The exact word you can find here. So all these testing item practice the scanning sub skill of the reader, right? Now let us see another type of question which practice the skimming sub skill of the reader. Let us try to find the difference between scanning and skimming first. Okay, look at this picture. To find, suppose you are asked one question: find the housefly in this card. This is one question. Suppose this is the text and the question is find the housefly in the card. Here you can easily find, specific information you can find easily. It is easily visible, clearly visible. So this kind of question is a skimming type of question, right? Now skimming type of question. So find the butter in this card. The second question is find the butter in this card. Now we cannot easily find the butter here. However, the butter is inside the card, right? So for that you have to skim the card. You have to skim the card to find the butter. And the butter, which is not clearly visible there, but you can skim it, and as the gist you can find the butter. The butter is another word, like another word, that is another substance. So that's the difference between scanning and skimming, right? Let us practice some skimming type of questions. The testing item that practice the skimming sub skill of reader. The same text. One autumn, my sister and I made a blunder. The same text. Look at the testing item. How was their journey? So about their journey, you cannot find the exact word, exact statement here. But however, after reading the whole text, you have to find the gist, gist of the text. Here, excited journey, lesson giving journey, this kind of word you can skim. You can find the gist of the text. That's why you can write, after reading all the passages, you can try to make a gist of the passage and give the answer. Such type of testing item is helps to practice the readers skimming sub skill or reading for gist sub skill of reading. So the journey was excited and lesson giving. Second testing item, true false. The writer and her sister were twins. Yeah, after reading this text, whole text, or this, especially this sentence, 10, one is 10, other is 16, we came to the gist that, we came to the conclusion that they were not twins. That's why this is false statement. In this way, we find the gist after reading this statement or after reading this whole text. Right? Another one is the text is about an exam plan, a boys outing, a trip. After reading this whole text, you know, this text is not about an exam plan. Neither this text is about a boys outing. Actually, it is about a trip. That's why the correct answer is about a trip. So the same testing item, question answer, the same question answer. Sometimes it practice the scanning skill, scanning sub skill. Sometimes it practices skimming sub skill. So which type of question do you think more difficult? Yeah, obviously. The second type of question is a little bit difficult. Why? Because you have to use your own language. You have to you have to read the whole text, the whole statement, and try to find the gist. So a little bit logic you have to use. That's why it's a little bit difficult. But don't worry, this type of questions are not asked so much in the examination. The first type of questions are asked very much in the examinations. So let us go into the third type of reading sub skill, that is reading for main ideas and supporting detail. Remember that in most of the article, in every paragraph, the first sentence gives the main idea of the paragraph. That is called main idea or main sentence, topic sentence, thesis sentence, and other sentences are the supporting detail of that pilot sentence, supporting detail of that main sentence, summary sentence, right? So that's why some of the testing item practice to find out main idea and supporting detail. So this kind of questions also asked in the examination. Here I have given one reading text from your textbook, grade 10 textbook, about Yogamaya. The text is like this. Yogamaya had a two-pronged agenda, not just one, explained Manamaya. Her first target was the cultural and religious operation of that time. Our second object was our ruler, the prime minister, who, along with his generals, allowed corruption and inequality to prevail. Our master Shakti Yogamaya showed us how these two evils are intertwined, and she feared neither. From this text, what are the two targets of Yogamaya? Two target of Yogamaya, this is the main agenda, main idea, and supporting details are first target was the cultural and religious operation of the time. This is the first target, and the second object was the ruler, the prime minister, who along with his generals, army generals, allowed corruption and inequality to prevail, to continue. So these are the two supporting details. So you can give, these are the content of these questions. The two target of Yogamaya were as follows. The first one, the cultural and religious operation of the time. The second one was the ruler, the prime minister, who along with his general allowed corruption and inequality to prevail. So in this we can give the answer. And another testing item is true false. The prime minister encourages fraud and discrimination. Like One supporting detail is about fraud, and another supporting detail is about discrimination. So they are similar. Cultural operation, it's a kind of fraud. Discrimination, inequality is another kind, is a kind of discrimination. That's why it's two. So go to the fourth type of fourth sub skill of reading, that is reading for deducing the meaning of word. This type of testing item is related to vocabulary, practicing new vocabulary, finding the meaning of vocabulary in context. So I have shown you very short text here, short passage here. It is unseen passage for you. This is not from your textbook. Let me read this text. Air quality in New Delhi plummeted to a dangerous level on Wednesday, putting residents at risk, mainly due to dust storm from Western India, a senior official at the Pollution Control Board said. This is the passage. Comprehension question. The word plummeted means fell down, decreased rapidly in value, raised up. So all these three meanings seems to be suitable, appropriate for this word. However, let us go to the context. Sometimes what happens, one word can give different meaning, and in that context, what is the meaning of that word? That is the important thing. Such kind of practice of reading is called deducing the meaning word. Reading for deducing the meaning of the word. Here, plummeted to the dangerous level. That means decreased rapidly in value. And here, matching item, another testing item is matching, risk, storm, pollution. You can find this kind of word here, risk, storm, pollution. Yes, these are the word given here. To find the meaning of this word, first read these three options. Risk means a violent and strong wind, making air, water, soil, etc. dirty, the possibility of something bad happening. If you have already know the meaning, it's okay. Sometimes what happens, the similar type of meaning you can find here, and you have to go to this sentence and find the contextual meaning, right? You have to deduce the meaning according to the content. You have to guess the meaning according to the context. So putting residents at risk, that means putting resident at the possibility of something bad happening. Yeah, this. In the same way, you can find the meaning of other two words. Now, the second thing, rubrics or mark scheme of the question. So, how can we obtain the full marks of question answer? For that, you have to remember 3 points, 3 things, 3 rubrics. They are: the main thing is content, subject matter, the answer, actual answer, 50% marks. Out of 1 mark, 0.5 for the content. If the content is correct, then the answers will get 0.5 marks. And for another 0.5 marks, you have to remember another 2 points. They are correctness of language, 0.25, and another third point is originality, 0.25. So you have to remember 3 things: content, correct language, originality. These are the 3 things. Let me describe it in detail. Content means the actual information from the passage that demanded by the question word. For example, how old were the 2 sisters? This is the question. And the actual information from the passage that the question has demanded is one is 10 and 16. 10 years and 16 years. These are the content of the question, question answer. So if the content is correct, then 50% marks. It covers 50% of the marks. And for another 50% marks, correctness of language. In correctness of language, you have to consider the spelling, correctness of spelling, correctness of punctuation marks, and correctness of tense, correctness of other grammatical items. For that, 25 marks. Originality, that means avoid the imitation from the passage, and you have to write the answer according to the form of the question, according to the questions, and it covers 25% of the mark. Let us practice some question answer after this, considering these 3 points. Okay. Now let us go into the third point, the last point of the day, and this is the most important thing, that today we are going to read a poem. The title of the poem is "Did I Miss Anything?" This poem was written by Tom Wayman. So before reading the poem, let us look at this picture. This is the picture of a classroom. You can see the students and a teacher. You can guess what is happening here. Yeah, the teacher looks surprised, and the student is asking a question. Maybe that question is funny question. Maybe this is that student who asked this question to the teacher. This student is asking, "Did I miss anything yesterday, teacher?" Maybe he is asking this question. Maybe he was absent yesterday's class, and he doesn't think that he missed anything. That means he underestimates the teacher's class, and he is not serious about that point. And the teacher, he himself becomes very sad after listening to this kind of question. Probably in this situation, he might have created this poem. Let me show you the picture of the poet. And here one question can be asked to you: who composed this poem, or who wrote this poem? The answer is Tom Wayman composed this poem. Tom Wayman wrote this poem. If the question is who composed this poem, the answer should be Tom Wayman composed this poem. So this is called originality. If the question is asked as who wrote this poem, the answer should be Tom Wayman wrote this poem. This is called originality quality. So Tom Wayman, probably he is 75 years old now. He is not dead. He is still alive. Let me say something about this poet. Tom Wayman, he was born on 13 August 1945. He is a Canadian author. He is a Canadian author. He used to be a teacher as well. In this poem is considered as his own experience in his teaching life. Understand? When he was a teacher, one of his students asked maybe this kind of silly question to him: "Did I miss anything yesterday's class, teacher?" Then he became very sad, and probably he composed this poem. Okay, and the explanation is here. One day, a student who was absent on the previous day class, that student asked him this question: "Did I miss anything in the class, teacher? Yesterday's class, teacher? Or was that class really important, teacher?" Probably when he listened to this question from his student, he became very sad, and he created this poem in sarcastic mode. What is sarcastic mode? What is sarcasm? Yeah, sarcasm is the act of saying one thing while meaning is the opposite. For example, suppose a child broke the glass. In that situation, probably the mother says, "Good job, baby, keep doing it." Actually, the mother is in sarcastic mode here. Actually, the baby didn't do anything good. In the same way, the students actually missed many things in yesterday's class. However, the teacher becomes sarcastic and said, "Nothing, you missed nothing because we did nothing yesterday, because you were absent yesterday." Such kind of answer the teacher is giving from the student's point of view here in this poem. Let us go to the first stanza of the poem. This is the first stanza of the poem. In the first stanza, there are only 3 lines, and this is the answer of that question. Did I miss anything? Did I miss anything? The teacher said, "Nothing." That means you missed nothing. Nothing. When we realized you weren't here, we sat with our hands folded on our desk in silence for the full 2 hours. That means this stanza begins from the word nothing. Every stanza that begins from nothing, that stanza is expressed in student's point of view, and every stanza that begins from everything, the word everything, that is from the teacher's point of view. Remember this thing, okay? And here the teacher is giving the answer of that questions being the students. The teacher says, nothing, you missed nothing. Because we means here the teacher and the other student who were present in the class. They realize that the teacher and the other student, they realize that student wasn't there in the class. That's why they sat with their hands folded on their desk in silence, and they sat without doing any activity. They just sat in the classroom for the whole period of 2 hours. And this can be the interpretation of this point, and this is from the student's point of view. The teacher himself, the poet himself, is narrating from the student's point of view to give the answer of that question. Let me practice some vocabulary. Realize, feel, hold it, bend over on itself, silence. Probably you know the meaning of this word. Interpretation, if you want to know. Interpretation of this poem, paraphrasing of these poetic lines. The other student of the class sat and did nothing for the whole period, 2 hours, because the kid who asked that question was not in the class. The teacher, though he is expressing this stanza from the student's point of view, the teacher was sarcastically expressed how important that student was and how they could not continue the class without that student's presence, without that student. So, some comprehension question from this stanza. What did the student do when they were in the classroom? Yeah, what did they do? Sat with their hands folded on their desks for the full 2 hours, for the whole period. This can be the content, right? And for the originality, you have to give the answer using the same questions, in this way. The students sat with their hands folded on their desks for the full 2 hours when they were in the classroom. Here we have given the answer. I have given the answer according to the question. This is the feature of this is the quality of originality. And while giving the answer, you have to remember the punctuation. Start from the beginning. The starting letter is the capital letter. At the end, full stop. The red part is the content of the answer, the subject matter of the answer. And these are the words demanded by this what question. So this for full 2 hours is the content demanded by how question. So Similarly, this red shaded word, they are the content demanded by this why question. How long did they stay in silence? For full 2 hours. For the full 2 hours. This is the answer. And the answer has been given according to the question. And I have considered three things here. Content. The content is correct. The second thing is correctness of language. I consider the second point also. And the third point is uh, originality of the answer. Here, I didn't copy anything from this text, but I have. Sometimes what happen? You write the student said with our hands, so you copied the exact word from here without changing according to the context. That's why you lose the quality of originality in your answer. So the fourth question. This question is not appropriate question, because here the word teacher is not correct here, appropriate here. What did the student do in the absence of their teacher? Actually, the teacher was not absent, the student was absent. That's why this question is not correct. However, this kind of question has been asked in some of the examination. That's why I have mentioned this question here. If such kind of question is asked, you can write that in the absence of teachers, in the absence of teacher, the students simply sat in silence with their hand folded on the desk. You can write in this way also. However, this word teacher should be replaced with absence of that student. Okay. Now let us go into the second stanza. In the second stanza, there are 4 lines. Begins from everything. That's why this stanza is from teacher's point of view. Everything, I gave an exam worth 40% of the grade for this term and assigned some reading due today, on which I am about to hand out a quiz worth 50%. So these are the activity of yesterday's class, the teacher says. The teacher himself is narrating. Here worth means value. Value of the exam is 40%, right? Grade means of the grade for this, 40% of the grade. Grade means level of proficiency. Grading system. Term, duration of the course. Term means first duration of the course, first term. Second duration of the course, second term. And assignment. Sorry. Sorry for interruption. And assigned. Assigned means allotted or given work. Assigned, that means that may be homework, that may be classwork. Due means required to submit today. Due today means required to submit today. About to hand out means about to give, ready to give. Here, the teacher told that telling the student how much of their grade can depend on one day. The teacher thinks sarcastically to himself about saying how much the student had missed in one class. The teacher thinks that being in the class is very, very important thing because the teacher has conducted a heavy exam, assigned some reading, and the teacher prepared a quiz of 50% marks. A student being absent in the class can miss a whole day of knowledge, he said. Here, the tone of this stanza is overreaction because In a single period, the teacher cannot do so many things, conduct the examination, what 40% of the grade for this term, conducting this thing in a single period, and assigning the reading due today, and giving the quiz worth 50%. I think this activity is not possible to be given within a single period of the day. That's why this is the overreaction from the side of narrator, from the side of teacher. That's why this stanza has been written in overreaction tone. Some comprehension question, one comprehension question from here. According to second stanza, what are the three activities that she does in classroom? Three activities. One activity about the exam, second activity about the reading, the third activity about the quiz. These are the three content you can scan from the second stanza, and you can give the answer something like this way. And I have already told you that the red part is the content and the black part is the part from the question. According to the second stanza, the three activities that she does in the classroom are as follows. The first activity is giving an exam worth 40% of their grade for this term. The second activity is assigning some reading due today. And the third activity is handing out a quiz worth 50%. Third stanza. It has been written, expressed from the student's point of view because it begins from nothing. Did I miss anything? The same question. The answer is nothing. You missed nothing. None of the content of this course has value or meaning. Take as many days off as you like. Any activities we undertake as a class, I assure you will not matter either to you or me, and are without purpose. So here, this stanza is in sarcasm tone. The poet has been sarcastic here because he is actually he want to say one thing, but he is giving in another way, opposite way. For example, he missed so many things. However, he is saying that he missed nothing. None of the content of this course has value or meaning. That means he is saying that the content of the course he taught yesterday has a great value. It was meaningful. However, he is saying that no meaning. None of the content of the course has value, no meaning of the content. It is sarcasm. And take as many days off as you like means take leave. Don't come to the school. You can take leave as many days as you like. That means he is also sarcastic here. Also, you should come to the school regular. Actually, he want to say this, but sarcastically he is saying this. And any activity we undertake a class, I assure you will not matter either you or me, and without purpose. Yeah, with all the activities that undertake in the class, they are purposeless, no purpose for the student, for the teacher, for you and for me, for the student, for teacher. Here also he is sarcastic. He is sarcastically saying three statement here. Okay. Content, subject matter of the course. Take a day off means take the leave. Decided not to study. Decided not to come to the office or work or school. As you like means the way one feel comfortable. तपाईँलाई मन लागे जति. Undertake, that means begin or perform or do work. Undertake, that happens in the class. We do the activity in the class. Assure, make something convince. I assure you, विश्वास दिलाउन चाहन्छु म विश्वास दिलाउँछु तिमीलाई. I assure you. Matter means महत्त्व राख्नु, be important or be significant. No matter means no important. Again, the poet, the teacher expresses sarcasm here. The teacher is telling about the class. The class is a bore, and no matter what day it is or what happens in the class, it won't be important. The teacher sarcastically thinks that the class is valueless, meaningless, and waste of time, and he doesn't need to show up anymore. So, which point of view is expressed in the third stanza? Obviously, the student's point of view is expressed in the third stanza. Fourth stanza. I think this is the longest stanza in this poem, the fourth stanza. Overreaction also tone. The tone of this stanza is overreaction, and this is expressed from the teacher's point of view. Everything a few minutes after we began last time, a shaft of light suddenly descended, and an angel or other heavenly being appeared and revealed to us what is women or man must do to attain divine wisdom, this life and the hereafter. This is the last time the class will meet before we disperse to bring the good news to all people on earth. Okay, so the poet has written something here which is the overreaction, which is more than normal thing, right? He has written here. Let us talk about some difficult word meaning here. A shaft of light means prakash ko kiran, light beam. A shaft of light suddenly descended here. Descended means come down. The shaft of light came down, and the light beam came down. It means an angel. Angel means divine figure or messenger of God. Ishwariya Dut, or we can say Devadut also. The other heavenly being means a supernatural being, or the thing that came from the heaven, that is called heavenly being. That may be also agent of God, a messenger of God, Ishwariya Dut or Devadut, that appeared. Here, the teacher himself considered as the messenger of the God, supernatural power, the person with supernatural power who can make the life of a student. He considered himself. So this is the overreaction. Nobody can be the person with supernatural power. But here, he has presented the teacher as the supernatural power, the person with supernatural power who can make the life of all the people in this earth. This is the overreaction. Appeared means seems dekha paryo. Revealed means disclosed. Bhed kholyo, gopya gura kholyo. Attain divine wisdom means attain means get, receive, paunu. And divine wisdom means dibbegan, disciplined knowledge from the God that we get. We get the knowledge. It is thought that it is said that we get the knowledge two ways. From one is by learning, by using our five sense of organs. We get the knowledge by reading books, using eyes, and by touching, sense of feeling. By smelling we can get knowledge, sense of smell. By hearing, by tasting. These are the five senses organ we can get knowledge. This is, and sometimes what happen, for example, in the Ramayana, in a Mahabharata, when they go to the meditation, and they get everything, every skill and knowledge all of a sudden. And getting such kind of discipline knowledge from the God is called divine wisdom, right? दिव्य ज्ञान प्राप्त गर्नु, यस्तो खालको दिव्य ज्ञान चाहिँ हामीले पाँचवटा इन्द्रियबाट भन्दा पनि हाम्रो मेडिटेसन मस्तिष्कको तरङ्गबाट प्राप्त गर्न सकिन्छ, जुन हामीले पाँचवटा इन्द्रियहरूले सिक्नलाई हामीलाई अरबौं वर्ष लाग्न सक्छ। दिव्य ज्ञान मस्तिष्कको तरङ्गबाट पाउनु भनेको क्षणभर पनि समय लाग्दैन। It is said that to attain the divine wisdom, giving the divine wisdom by the teacher, it's overreaction, right? And hereafter, after that, and disperse means scatter, be parted, alag alag we disperse from the school, we leave the school and go different field to work, to live, and that is called we disperse. Yeah, saying that some important being came and taught something that they needed to spread to the world to save many people. The teacher is exaggerating, overreacting that they find out the meaning of why they were placed on the earth. She claims that through the education a person is enlightened. Here the poet has compared the teacher as an angel or as a heavenly being. The teacher is incarnated divine figure who is considered to be a source of light of wisdom. When he or she is regularly seen in the classroom, undoubtedly every boy and girl will get life-based education and good learning. Okay, questions. Who came down to the earth to tell us something to do? An angel or heavenly being? What did the heavenly being tell them to do? To get the divine wisdom. So these are the answers. The first question's answer is an angel or other heavenly being came down to the earth to tell us something to do. And here, the heavenly being told them, in the second question, the heavenly being told them what each of man or woman, here's a mistake, what each woman, this each of should be omitted, what each woman or man must do to attain divine wisdom this life and the hereafter. The heavenly being told them this. Okay, now let's go into the fifth stanza. Only 2 lines, written in sarcasm tone, student's point of view. Nothing when you were not present. How could something significant occur? Significant means important, occur means take place or be in progress. कुनै कुरा हुनु, कार्यक्रम हुनु. So it means the child that missed class is the class clown or important person in the class. Actually, the teacher is sarcastic here. Actually, he is not so important. However, he is telling that you are very important person. He is called class clown also. So without him, nothing interesting happened yesterday. In this way, he gave the answer here. Why couldn't something interesting happen in the class? Because he was not present. Something interesting couldn't happen in the class because that so-called important student or sarcastically called important student or the class clown was not present. Now, 6th, 7th and 8th stanza. Here the teacher is telling the truth here. Very normal thing, a very general thing. Here the poet is neither sarcastic nor overreacting. He is expressing the truth here in the last 3 stanzas. And all these 3 stanzas are from teacher's point of view. However, the 7th and 8th stanza have only single line. However, they are written in different paragraph. They are also different stanza. Let us talk about the 6th, 7th and 8th stanza. Everything contained in this classroom is a microcosm of human experience, assembled for you to query and examine and ponder. This is not the only place such an opportunity has been gathered, but it was one place, and you were not here yesterday. So contain means kept, राखिएको, consisted. Microcosm means a small version of something larger. Human experience means knowledge after the work, अनुभव, मानव अनुभवको ठुलो महान एउटा पृथ्वीको सानो सूक्ष्म रूप. Microcosm, classroom is the microcosm of the human experience. because we can find the collection of human experience in compact form in the classroom. And this kind of compact form cannot be found anywhere in the world that we can find in the classroom. That's why classroom is called microcosm. कक्षा कोठामा पाउने जति पनि हामीले मानव ज्ञानहरूको सङ्गालो कम्प्याक्ट रूपमा पाइन्छ त्यो चाहिँ खदिलो रूपमा पाउँछौँ, त्यो हामीले अन्त कहीँ पनि पाउँदैनौँ। त्यसैले कक्षा कोठालाई यहाँनिर माइक्रोकोजम अफ ह्युमन एक्सपिरियन्स, it is called, classroom has been called microcosm of human experience. And assembled means collected together, put some parts together, एकत्रित गरिएको हुन्छ everything. त्यहाँनिर you study science, math, English, different kinds of subject, different kinds of knowledge you get within the 6 hours of the day. So ponder means think deeply. Opportunity, chance, gathered, collected. So the teacher is telling the truth. Yeah, actually the class is the microcosm of the human experience. Yeah. And so everything, every human experience has been shared, is shared, in classroom. And in the classroom, those things are assembled for the students, collected for the student in the form of textbook, curriculum, and they can ask the question, they will be examined, they have to think about that topic, about that content given in the textbook and curriculum. And this is an actually opportunity for every student, every young people. This is an opportunity. Going to the school is an opportunity. So, but classroom is the only one place, but that place he was not there on that day. So why is the classroom so important? Because the things contained in the classroom is the microcosm of human experience, assembled for the student to query, to examine, and to ponder. That's why. Some skimming type of question. Yeah, finally, skimming type of questions. After reading the whole poem, you can find the answer of this question. Who are having the conversation in this poem? Yeah, teacher and student. What is the theme of the poem? Responsibility of the student. Not only student, but the teacher. The responsibility of student and teacher. This is the theme of this poem. The teacher and student are having conversation in the poem. Theme. The theme of the poem is to reveal the importance of responsibility of student and the teacher in detail. The student should never miss out the classroom, and the teacher should be regular. They should make the classroom live, interesting, exciting, and productive. Finally, inferential type of question. Inferential question can be the topic of the essay writing, right? What is inferential question? Inferential question is the question whose answer cannot be found exactly in the passage or text, but that can be related to some of the event of the text, right? That kind of question is called inferential question. And for that, you have to give your additional information to give the answer, and that may be the related. The answer may be related to some part of the text, some part of the event in the text. For example, write a paragraph on the importance of classroom education. Importance of classroom education. To write or to speak on this topic, you cannot find the exact answer in the poem, in the passage, in the text, but the content given in the poem, given in the text, is somehow related to this topic. So this is called inferential question, and this can be the topic for the essay. Write an essay on the importance of the classroom education. Another inferential topic can be importance of school. Write an essay on importance of school. So thank you very much for watching this video. I hope you learned something about this poem and you learned some skills, sub skills to give the answer of some comprehension questions. Once again, thank you very much watching this video. Bye.